The voice on the radio still echoes in his mind. You should have stopped. The words make his skin crawl, but he doesn't understand why. Not until he looks up, his gaze drifting back down the empty road. That's when he sees it. His headlights illuminate the spot where he first saw the figure. But now there's something else. A wrecked car, its metal twisted, its windshield shattered. He steps out of his car, his legs unsteady beneath him. The crash looks old, weeks, maybe even months. His stomach tightens as he steps closer, the eerie silence pressing in around him. The driver's side door is still open. The seat inside is empty. And then his phone vibrates in his hand. Another message from the same unknown number. Asterisk, asterisk, you didn't stop, asterisk, asterisk. His breath catches as a sudden memory floods back. Flashes of headlights, the sound of screeching tires, the weight of guilt pressing on his chest. He had been here before. He had seen this car before, but he had kept driving. And now, the figure on the road wasn't a warning. It was a reminder. Back at the house, time stretches on, the silence growing heavier with every passing second. The closet door remains ajar, its darkness now undisturbed. But something feels different. The house doesn't feel quite as empty as it should. The walls seem to hold a presence, something unseen, but still there, lingering in the air. The next morning, a woman's friend arrives. They knock on the door, calling her name. No answer. Their gut twists with unease as they push the door open, stepping inside. The house is still eerily quiet. Nothing seems out of place, but the air feels thick, suffocating. They call for her again, moving cautiously through the house. Her bedroom is just as she left it. The closet door is open, the blankets kicked to the foot of the bed, but she isn't there. Her phone is still on the nightstand. The screen lights up. A new message, the sender unknown. The friend hesitates before picking it up, their fingers trembling as they read the words glowing against the darkness of the room. Asterisk, asterisk, I'm still here, asterisk, asterisk. A chill runs down their spine as they glance around the empty room. The air feels heavier now, pressing in on them, whispering through the silence. And just as they turn to leave, they hear it. A creak, a breath, a whisper, barely audible, coming from inside the closet. They freeze, heart hammering, skin prickling with something primal. Slowly, they turn back toward the open door. The darkness inside seems deeper than before, stretching further than it should. And then, just as they take a step forward, the door slams shut. And in that moment, somewhere between the echoes of reality and something much darker, a single thought settles in their mind. She never really left. The gas station is silent. The night stretches on, empty and endless. He doesn't scream. He doesn't move. He just sits there, staring at his own face, as his reflection smiles back at him. The next morning, his car is found in the same spot. The door is unlocked, the key still in the ignition, but the driver's seat is empty. His phone sits on the dashboard, the screen shattered. The last message is still there, but he's gone. The woman in the house lies frozen in bed, staring at the thin strip of light beneath her bedroom door. The air is thick, suffocating. She listens, every muscle in her body locked in place. Then something moves. A shadow passes, blocking the light for just a second. Slow, deliberate footsteps move away from her door, fading down the hall. She finally exhales, chest tight, head spinning. Maybe it's over. Maybe whoever, or whatever, was there is gone. But then, a soft creak. Not from the hallway. From inside the room. Her breath catches. The closet. The door is open just an inch, though she knows she shut it before bed. The darkness inside feels deeper than it should, stretching past what she can see. And then something shifts in the shadows. The woman's throat tightens as she stares at the darkness inside the closet. She tells herself she's imagining it, that the shift in the shadows is just her eyes playing tricks. But deep down, she knows better. The air feels different, charged with something unseen. A feeling of absolute wrongness seeps into her bones. Then, another creak. This time, unmistakable, something moves inside. She wants to run, to bolt for the door and never look back. But fear holds her in place. Slowly, her fingers inch toward her bedside lamp. If she can just turn on the light, maybe it'll stop. Maybe whatever is in there will disappear. Her breath is shallow, her heart hammering. She flicks a switch. The bulb flickers, then dies. A whisper brushes the air, too soft to understand, but she feels it, like cold breath against her ear. The closet door inches open, the wood groaning against a silence. Miles away, the man still grips the wheel, his body rigid. He hasn't looked in the mirror again. He doesn't want to. But he feels it, that same suffocating presence, something unseen and watching. He keeps driving, forcing himself to focus on the road. But then his phone screen lights up on the passenger seat. An unknown number. His stomach twists as he hesitantly glances at the screen. A single text. Asterisk, asterisk, look behind you, asterisk, asterisk. And in the reflection of the screen, he sees it. A face right behind him. The man's breath catches in his throat. His fingers clench the steering wheel, but he can't move. The face reflected in his phone screen is just inches behind him, pale, hollow eyes staring straight through him. His chest tightens, panic clawing at his ribs. The car lurches as he swerves, his tires skidding against the road. He grips the wheel, trying to steady himself, but when he dares to glance in the mirror, nothing. The back seat is empty. His pulse slams against his skull as he gasps for air. Was it real, or is exhaustion twisting his mind? The radio, still buzzing with static, suddenly clears. A voice, distant yet familiar, crackles through. He should have stopped. His stomach drops. His eyes dart to the side of the road. There, right where he first saw it, stands the figure, watching, waiting. Back in the house, the woman squeezes her eyes shut, every muscle locked in place. The closet door is open now, yawning into an abyss of black. She knows she should run, but something is holding her there, keeping her frozen in place. A whisper calls through the air again, closer this time. The shadows in the closet seem to pulse, shifting like something is stepping forward. And then, nothing. The air is still. The house is silent. The voice on the radio still echoes in his mind. You should have stopped. The words make his skin crawl, but he doesn't understand why. Not until he looks up, his gaze drifting back down the empty road. That's when he sees it. His headlights illuminate the spot where he first saw the figure. But now, there's something else. A wrecked car, its metal twisted, its windshield shattered. He steps out of his car, his legs unsteady beneath him. The crash looks old, weeks, maybe even months. His stomach tightens as he steps closer, the eerie silence pressing in around him. The driver's side door is still open. The seat inside is empty. And then his phone vibrates in his hand. Another message from the same unknown number. Asterisk, asterisk, you didn't stop, asterisk, asterisk. His breath catches as a sudden memory floods back. Flashes of headlights, the sound of screeching tires, the weight of guilt pressing on his chest. He had been here before. He had seen this car before. But he had kept driving. And now, the figure on the road wasn't a warning. It was a reminder. Back at the house, time stretches on, the silence growing heavier with every passing second. The closet door remains ajar, its darkness now undisturbed. But something feels different. The house doesn't feel quite as empty as it should. The walls seem to hold a presence, something unseen, but still there, lingering in the air. Darkness hides many things, secrets, fears, and the chilling unknown. But sometimes the most terrifying stories aren't fiction. They're real. Tonight, we bring you 10 horrifying true scary stories, each more unsettling than the last. These are tales whispered in the dead of night, experiences that left their victims forever haunted. Imagine driving down a lonely highway, the hum of your engine the only sound for miles, until you realize you're not alone. A figure, barely visible in your rearview mirror, is standing in the road. You swerve, your heart pounding, but when you stop to look, there's no one there. Was it just your mind playing tricks, or something far more sinister? Or picture moving into a new home, excited for a fresh start. But from the moment you step inside, something feels off. Objects go missing, strange noises echo through the halls, and at night, you swear you hear whispering just outside your bedroom door. You tell yourself it's just the house settling, but deep down, you know better. These are just glimpses of the horrors that await. Each story tonight is real, pulled from those who lived through nightmares they can never forget. Some have no explanation, others defy logic, but all will leave you looking over your shoulder long after the video ends. So turn off the lights, settle in, and prepare yourself for 10 terrifying true scary stories. Because sometimes the scariest things aren't in our imagination, they're right behind us. The night air feels heavier than usual, pressing down like an unseen force. You try to shake the feeling, but something about this evening feels different, off. Maybe it's the way the wind seems to whisper through the trees, or the uneasy silence that settles in between each breath. Take the man driving down that dark, endless road. His hands grip the steering wheel a little tighter, his knuckles pale under the dim glow of the dashboard lights. He tells himself he's just tired, that the shadows playing tricks on his eyes are nothing more than flickering headlights from a passing car. But deep down, he knows something is wrong. His gut twists, a cold dread settling into his bones. And then he sees it again, just a flash in the mirror, a figure standing too still, too close to the road. He swears it wasn't there a second ago, but when he glances back, the road is empty. Or the woman who just moved into her dream home. It should be a fresh start, a place filled with warmth and laughter. But the house doesn't feel welcoming. The air inside is thick, the kind of quiet that makes your ears ring. The first few nights, she blames her unease on nerves. But then small things start to happen. Doors left open that she knows she closed, the soft creak of footsteps in an empty hallway, the feeling of being watched. She tells herself it's nothing, but she's wrong. The man on the road tries to convince himself it's all in his head. Maybe the long drive is playing tricks on his mind, fatigue blurring the lines between reality and imagination. But then his radio cuts to static. The drumming noise fills the car, sharp and grating, and before he can reach to turn it off, the temperature drops. His breath fogs in front of him, and for the first time he feels it. A presence, something unseen, but undeniably there. His hands tremble as he grips the wheel. The headlights ahead flicker, just for a second, and when they stabilize, the figure is no longer in his mirror. It's in the road, closer this time, watching. Miles away, the woman in her new home tries to ignore the unease that has settled into her chest. She pushes through her routine, unpacking boxes, forcing herself to laugh at her own paranoia. But the feeling lingers, a quiet sense of wrongness, clinging to every corner of the house. One night, she wakes up cold, the blankets bunched at the foot of the bed. Her skin prickles. The air feels heavy, charged. Then, a sound, soft, deliberate. Footsteps, slow and steady, moving just outside her bedroom door. She holds her breath, straining to listen. The footsteps stop. The silence that follows is worse. It stretches too long, unnatural, as if someone, or something, is waiting. She isn't alone, and she knows it. The man's pulse pounds in his ears as his headlights illuminate the road ahead. The figure is gone, or maybe it was never really there. He forces himself to breathe, gripping the wheel like a lifeline. But then, a flicker in the corner of his eye. His rearview mirror tilts slightly, almost like someone touched it. His heart stops. The back seat is empty. At least it looks empty. But a feeling crawls over his skin, something unseen pressing against the air itself. The car feels smaller, like he's not alone inside. A whisper brushes against his ear, too faint to make out, but close enough to freeze his blood. He doesn't dare turn around.